In the year AD 95, on the rocky Isle of Patmos, John receives visions, earth-shattering, mystic, and prophetic. The book of Revelation emerges. But how should readers through the centuries interpret its vivid symbols and sweeping visions? In the Preterist framework derived from the Latin praeter, meaning past, Revelation's prophecies are seen as fulfilled within John's own generation, particularly surrounding the destruction of Jerusalem in AD 70 under Roman rule, the tribulation, the Antichrist, the fall of Babylon. All are understood as symbols of first-century upheaval. Early proponents point to the Jewish war and the fall of the temple as the climactic judgment foretold by Jesus and John. From the Preterist lens, John's audience, believers in the early AD era, would have found hope in seeing immediate vindication, Jerusalem's fall, the end of the Old Covenant, and the emergence of the New Covenant Church fulfill prophecy in their day. By contrast, the idealist or allegorical approach treats Revelation not as a literal roadmap of events, but as a symbolic drama that transcends time. Under this view, the seals, trumpets, beasts, and Babylon represent ever-present spiritual realities, the struggle between Christ and Satan, the trials of the church, and the victory of faith across all ages. It's not about the year AD 70, AD 312, or AD 2025. The battlefield is eternal, the message is Christ triumphs, evil is defeated, and believers are strengthened to endure. The Historicism framework sees Revelation as a continuous prophetic panorama stretching from John's time in AD 95 right through church history into the future day of the Lord. Every major vision corresponds to specific epochs, beasts, Babylon, seals, and trumpets tied to emperors, reformations, wars, and ecclesiastical shifts. From Irenaeus and Justin Martyr in the 2nd century AD, through Reformation-era Protestants like Luther and Calvin, Historicism was the dominant Protestant approach, identifying the papacy as the beast, Babylon as Rome, and eras like Sardis, Thyatira, and Philadelphia mapping onto church ages. The opening of seals, the sounding of trumpets, the pouring of bowls, each interpreted by historicists as successive waves of movements, Visigothic invasions, papal ascendancy, Reformation, Enlightenment, modern globalism. And yet, these frameworks diverge sharply. Preterists root it all in 1st century AD history. Idealists elevate it to an eternal spiritual narrative. Historicists weave it into a 2,000-year timeline, tying every symbol to successive ages. Grounding the interpretive frameworks amidst AD helps viewers connect time frames with interpretive lenses. The Preterist sees prophecy fulfilled in AD 68-70, the idealist transcends AD entirely, the historicist reads from AD 95 onward, through Roman persecutions, medieval papacy, Reformation, industrial revolutions, up to Christ's return. In AD history, each lens calls the reader to a different posture. Preterism invites us to see early Christian courage rising amid Roman shadows. Idealism invites us to see Revelation as living poetry of spiritual warfare across all ages. Historicism invites us to trace God's sovereignty woven through centuries, from John's island exile in AD 95 to the Reformation fire, to now. Whichever framework you find compelling, the book of Revelation remains a powerful testament, all within the continuum of AD history, calling readers to see that in the end, God prevails.